Welcome to another Better Farming Report. I'm Gary Truitt. Our Better Farming Reports are made possible by your Indiana Soybean Checkoff and the Indiana Soybean Alliance. Better Farming Reports designed to help you farm more profitably and productively. And that usually means we're talking about agronomic issues or technology issues, but this time we're going to talk policy issues. Here at the Hamilton County Fairgrounds in Noblesville, Indiana, farmers have gathered to listen to projections about what's going to happen after the election, to hear discussions of what kinds of issues are going to be impacting agriculture, and what is likely to be involved in the next farm bill and in the next administration in the White House. In today's report, we'll talk with Sam Willett from the National Corn Growers Association and examine some of the policy issues that will have a big impact on your bottom line in 2017 and beyond.
Indiana soybean checkoff dollars support you with many, many, many tools to help you get the most out of your bean. Activate your membership at indianabeanbenefits.com.
Sam Willett is with the National Corn Growers Association in Washington, D.C. He escaped Washington to come here to Hamilton County to talk to Indiana corn and soybean farmers about a number of issues that will be impacting agriculture in the coming years. The first one we'll talk about is the Farm Bill. And Sam, certainly when we wrote the current Farm Bill, times were a lot different than they are today in agriculture. How is the safety nets that we put in place working now in these very tough economic times?
Well, I think when you look at the numbers, whether it's the agriculture risk coverage program as well as in some areas the price loss coverage program, this farm bill rather, is working as it was designed. Where the Congressional Budget Office and all us other experts were wrong, is that we certainly didn't anticipate the kind of decline in prices that occurred. I think over time, the amount of money that's being spent will probably be, over the period of 5 years, about the same as was projected.
But that's going to be a lot more than it was originally projected. Is the fact that we're in tough times and we'll be writing the new Farm Bill in some tough economic times going to have an impact on how we see farm programs moving forward?
We're definitely looking at this Farm Bill through a different lens. You're absolutely right, Gary. When you look at the time that this bill was being written, 2013, coming off a very serious drought. Prices were up. Producers had experienced a string of very prosperous years. In terms of history was made. But today, we're looking at most projections of prices not improving substantially over the next few years, and consequently that is going to make a lot of people pause about what kinds of policy recommendations we're going to submit to Congress over the next year.
Crop insurance, one of the keys for this current safety net, continues to be one of the top priorities for members of the Indiana and the National Corn Growers Association. But a lot of funding, a lot of controversy, a lot of pushback in certain circles. Is crop insurance safe? Are we going to be able to keep it going forward?
I personally believe when you look at the 2012 Farm Bill and other years in certain parts of the country that have been hit very, very hard by Mother Nature, that this private sector public partnership has delivered the kind of assistance that has been critically needed by growers, and testament to its effectiveness and its efficiency is that we have not seen major calls for disaster assistance like we did before some of the improvements that were adopted by Congress to the crop insurance program.
One of the issues that people are beginning to talk about in Washington is the next Farm Bill, 2018. Is it too early to talk about Farm Bill at this point, and is it too early to get growers involved in talking with their leaders and elected officials about the next Farm Bill?
A very good question. I'm sure a lot of growers here attending this meeting saying, why is this fella talking about a farm bill in 2019? It could be in 2018, it could be in 2019, but here we are, December 2016, right? The fact is that when you look back, Gary, and you know all too well, not only from the last farm bill, but previous farm bills, it takes time. To write a farm bill, there are so many different interests, regional priorities that can kind of clash. And then what's made it more difficult here, especially the last two farm bills, is unlike the 2002 farm bill and the one before that, the 1996 farm bill, there is less money. And when you have less money, it becomes more difficult to craft a compromise bill.
One last farm bill question. Nutrition, the nutrition programs, the SNAP program almost derailed our current farm bill. Is that going to be an issue going forward? And are we going to pass a farm bill without a nutrition title as part of it, or do they need to stay together?
Well, to its credit, the House Agriculture Committee under Chairman Conaway has spent a lot of time reviewing the nutrition programs in preparation for the next farm bill. I think that was in large response to a lot of the questions that were raised about the SNAP program during the last farm bill debate. So the committee is coming forward this year with a lot of information about how that program has performed. And I think they will have a terrific baseline of information to help write that piece of the farm bill. But we know from our last experience that there are folks who believe that the supplemental nutrition programs ought to be separate from the other farm program titles. But suffice it to say with that, to advance both bills, we're going to have support from broad sectors, wide sectors of support. But there are some folks who believe that it's a program that needs to be pared back, delivered in a different way. But those arguments will have to be part of the debate next year and the following year.
One of the other big issues that's important to Indiana farmers is trade. A significant portion of every row of corn and soybeans in our state goes overseas. Patrick Delaney was here from the American Soybean Association talking about trade issues. It's an important issue for corn growers as well. Going forward, we will have a new philosophy by the U.S. government on trade, moving from multilateral to bilateral trade deals. Is this a philosophy that can work for corn growers going forward and maintaining and growing the exports we need to build demand for our products?
Well, like you and a lot of other folks in the media and elsewhere in agriculture, we're following very closely some of the decisions and the transition team. President-elect Trump is still assembling his team. We're going to have to wait and see who all is going to be advising him and helping him administer his priorities. Trade is absolutely important to corn growers, as it is to soybean growers. We're hopeful that we can get our message across that it's essential, absolutely essential, that we try to expand our export markets to build demand for corn. In this era of declining prices, one way out of those declining prices is to build demand, and our export markets has to be part of that solution.
A lot of talk in the media about a possible trade war with China. That would not be good for corn growers or soybean growers. How worried are you about the new administration and their approach to working with China?
Well, I think time will tell. Certainly, President Trump has made very, very clear that crafting trade agreements or relationships with the countries that the United States is treated fairly, and that whatever trade agreements that we secure, that it's one that enhances the position of the U.S., not only for our businesses but for our workers and our farmers as well.
A couple other quick issues. The EPA, certainly going to be some changes in top leadership there, certainly some changes in a new philosophy, perhaps less regulations both on the environmental side. How optimistic are you that farmers are going to do better under the new EPA regime?
Well, I don't need to tell you that a lot of our members, a lot of our leadership has been very frustrated with a lot of the regulations. New regulations have come out of the Environmental Protection Agency over the last 4 to 8 years. We did receive some good news here lately with the announcement on the new RVO, the Renewable Volumes Obligation, is going to meet statutory requirements. We're very, very happy about that. Going forward, a lot depends upon who is going to be selected to lead the Environmental Protection Agency. Will there be an appropriate balance on making sure that we have reasonable regulations applied not just to business but to our farmers? But we're also very, very concerned how EPA is going to move forward in terms of how it's going to administer the renewable fuel standard. And that's going to be very, very important to our farmers. Farm Bill is very, very important, but a prosperous and robust ethanol industry is kind of like our other Farm Bill.
Tim Willett with National Corn Growers Association. Thanks for joining us here. Our Better Farming Report is brought to you by your Indiana Soybean Checkoff and the Indiana Soybean Alliance. I'm Gary Truitt. Hoosier Ag Today.
Indiana soybean checkoff dollars support you with many, many, many tools to help you get the most out of your bean. Activate your membership at indianabeanbenefits.com.